Chapter 21. Iron Will. Part 1. Streets of Shuri Town, Land of Earth. Katori and Yakimaru look on at the sight in front of them with wide eyes and gaping mouths. The Land of Earth's Shuri Town was lined with stalls as far as the eye can see. Dumplings, takoyaki, a huge assortment of sweets. They go from store to store, looking at what's tastiest and unable to decide. Naruto chuckles. You don't have to just stare, you know? He pushes away the banners to a dango stall. Let's start eating. The four of them take a seat and a bench. 4 plates, mister, and get ready to make a whole lot more. The man behind the stall gives a jolly laugh. You got it. After a short wait, he hands them their dango. After a single bite, Katori and Yakimaru are on cloud 9. It's really tasty. Yakimaru in particular gulps down the dumplings like they're made of air. He eats too much and chokes lightly, pounding his chest. Hinata giggles and cleans his mouth with a tissue, seeing as not all the paste went in his mouth. Be careful, you'll get yourself sick. Katori takes a bite out of her dango. It's like you've never seen sweets before. Yakimaru looks down at his plate. I mean, I really haven't. I stole a lot of things, but it was for mom, and she can't eat sweets the way she is. Oh. I'm sorry, I didn't think. The boy shakes his head. It's fine. You've eaten a lot, though, huh? She sheepishly rubs her head. Oh, not really. Miss Sheena couldn't afford a lot of luxuries since the orphanage was kinda struggling. Yakimaru puffs his cheeks and squeezes her nose between his index and middle fingers. Then what are you getting on my case for? Ow ow ow. She yelps in pain, but is then surrounded by a puff of smoke and is replaced by a piece of cloth. Huh? Substitution? Hey, no fair, come back here. Yakimaru steps outside and looks left and right, and then left again, trying to find her. She's gone. She's gotten that good that quick? Help? Or not? Yakimaru looks to where the voice came from. Up on the stall. Katori is clutching to a metal pipe that's holding the banners following a misjudged substitution, with one banner missing after being used for as the substitute. Hinata giggles at their shenanigans. Naruto shakes his head and takes the banner from the bench. Sorry, mister, I'll put it back. He helps her down and gets to placing the banner back where it belongs. You gotta be careful where you go so you don't get stuck like that and don't bother other people, alright? Sorry, Dad. Hinata walks behind him and holds his hand, pressing herself close to him. You bothered quite a lot of people yourself, though. He gets flustered. That doesn't matter now. Old news. Sensei, you were a troublemaker? Did you get in trouble a lot, Dad? I said it doesn't matter. He holds 2 pouches of coin and hands them to the kids. Look, how about a game? You buy as many sweets as you want. First one to give up from the sugar has to do double training for a week. The 2 kids look at each, grab the coin pouch and dart off. Is it a good idea to give them a sugar high? You heard them, right? They've never had the chance to do this kinda thing. For one reason or another, they haven't had the chance to live a normal childhood, so I'll make sure they do from now on. You know, she stands on her toes to press her head against his. Just when I think you can't get any kinder, and kisses him. I found a ramen stall further down. He grins. I love you. She chuckles. What, because I'm good at finding ramen stalls? For a lot of things, although that's a pretty nice bonus. The 2 of them walk hand in hand. Teshin household, Shuri Town, Land of Earth. Ever since the crack of dawn, the Teshin household has been busy with people running left and right. It's a big day for them, after all, and they have to ensure it goes well. It's the grand opening of the Shorin Dojo. The teaching of the martial art once reserved only for their clan will now be available for anyone to learn that has the patience and resolve for it. In the yard of the family that owns said dojo, one young boy is already hard at work training. He looks to be around 7 years old, dressed in simple robes, his black hair tied up in a traditional topknot, long hair tied in a knot and folded onto the head. Oddly enough, his fingers are dark brown in color. He's performing kata in front of a tree, knees slightly bent, hand outstretched. He delivers 2 punches, causing some bark to fly off. He doesn't flinch, even though the impact should have been enough to tear off his skin. His jutsu is protecting his hand, making it rock hard. He shifts his position, lowering himself. Another strike and a kick. He winces at the kick, apparently not having the same protection as his hands, but keeps going. His movements are fast, precise, and well practiced. He takes a stance and kicks the tree. TCH. Too slow, too high. He takes the same stance again and repeats it until he's satisfied. After more than 2 hours of this, a voice calls to him. Shoto. He turns to see a man and woman dressed in the same robes as him, the man having the same top-knot hairstyle as him, and the woman tied in a long ponytail. Shoto looks to the side in annoyance. The man walks to the boy at a fast pace and grabs his hand, inspecting the darker brown fingers. I've told you to cut it out, Shoto. But, father. No buts. You will respect your uncle's decision and that's final. The man lets go of Shoto's hand. Our clan is no longer shinobi, so stop. Now come, we're to meet with cousin Soken and prepare for the day. He makes his way toward the house. The boy lowers his head and follows. Yes, father. The woman tries to place her hands on his shoulder to pull him into a hug, but he brushes her off and continues to walk. She frowns and walks behind him. After several minutes of walking in silence, the man and boy looking annoyed and the woman looking worried, they make it inside They eventually reach the Shorin dojo not far from their home. It's a busy place, with multiple people scrubbing the place clean, some cleaning the walls or retouching the place with paint, especially the signs on the walls and outside the building. Everyone is doing something to prepare for the big day. The public opening of the Shorin school is a martial arts school, now to accept anyone who may wish to study a fighting style and hone their skills. A vast change from before when it was for family members only, when the clan's fighting style was for actual combat. Inside, they're met by an older man who approaches with a smile. Itasaka, Asami. Shoto. I'm glad you came, there's much work to be done before the grand opening. Of course, cousin. Itasaka bows his head. Shoto, you go help with the painting. Shoto curls his hand into a fist. No. The man turns around, glaring. What did you say? I said no. The boy shouts loud enough to grab everyone's attention. I don't want the Teshin clan to become a circus, I won't be part of it. A slap resounds throughout the dojo. Shoto lands on his butt, his cheek stinging. Itasaka is furious. You disrespect Soken's wishes, and now you embarrass me in front of everyone? Asami kneels down. Shoto. She turns to her husband. Itasaka, that was too far. Shoto rubs his cheek and stands up. If you intend on continuing this behavior, then leave. I won't have you ruin an important day because of your foolish obsession with the past. He pushes himself up and runs out. Asami calls out to him, but he keeps on running. She looks like she wants to go after him, but the elder Teshin stops her. I believe he needs to gather himself. I'm sorry. This divide came about from my decision on the clan's future. You've nothing to apologize for, cousin. You're the head of the Teshin clan, your word is law. Itasaka places his hand inside his robe, letting it rest. It's my fault for not disciplining him properly, that he rebels at such a young age. Soken looks at his younger cousin with a pointed look. The lad still doesn't get it. He sighs and leads them to help with preparations. Streets of Shuri Town, Land of Earth. Naruto and Hinata make their way out of the ramen stall, having eaten their fill. Think the kids are done by now? Naruto pats his belly. Doubtful, but we can still check in on them. They make their way back to the main street and surprisingly almost immediately find the kids. Thought it'd be harder. They're leaving one store in particular, waving back to someone inside and carrying a large bag filled with wrapped sweets and seem to be chatting away. What's this? Decided to stock up on food. The kids turn to where the voice came from to see Naruto and Hinata approaching. Katori shakes her head. Uncle Kakashi treated us with a whole bunch of things. Hinata smiles and pats them both on the head, leading them to walk along together with them. Did you remember to thank him properly? Of course. After a second, it clicks. Naruto and Hinata look at each other. Wait, Uncle Kakashi? They go back to the stall the kids just left and poke their heads inside, and sure enough, Kakashi's spiky white hair is there to greet them. He waves to them. Hello. Kakashi-sensei? A woman sitting next to them twists her head around, also a familiar face. Long brown trench coat, violet hair tied in a spiky ponytail. Anko just finishes her sweets. Hey, you brats. Fancy seeing you here. Anko-sensei? Creepy snake lady? A skewer is embedded in Naruto's forehead protector. Who you calling creepy? And to her side is another woman, dressed in the usual hidden stone uniform of brown flak jacket and one-sleeved clothing underneath. She spins around, her short black hair swaying slightly as she does. You're Kuretsuchi? Naruto takes out the skewer from his protector. Naruto. Didn't think I'd be bumping into you in these parts. What brings you here? We were on our way to the hidden stone for our big mission, but we stopped, cause it looked like something big's going on. Oh? Kakashi perks up. I would have thought you're here for the Teshin clan's dojo opening. Thought it might be right up your alley. Who now? Hinata gets a look of recognition, the name ringing a bell. But it couldn't possibly be the same clan, could it? The Teshin clan. Kuretsuchi explains. They used to be a shinobi clan in the Hidden Stone, but they lost their status around the Second Great Ninja War. Then, Hinata takes a step forward. It's that same Teshin clan? Yeah. I suppose you'd know about them. Naruto looks between the two. You know them, Hinata? Only from old records I've read. They were a powerful shinobi clan, specializing in ninjutsu and taijutsu that allowed them to clash with the Hyuga clan on equal footing. Wow, they were that good? Kuretsuchi forms hand signs and her arm becomes dark and brown like earth. They were said to be so proficient in earth style that it was stronger than any other, strong enough to even block the Hyuga's gentle fist from blocking their pressure points. They were one of the few who could stand up against them. Her arm returns to normal and she resumes eating her snacks. But they lost their touch, lost every battle against a Hyuga clan. So they fell from grace and exiled themselves from the village. Wow, that sounds cool. Yakamaru exclaims. And, now they're opening a dojo, even though they were that amazing? Anko orders a new plate of sweets. Apparently they're going to teach their clan's personal fighting style to the public, become a dojo instead of a shinobi clan. That feels like a bit of a waste. Just because they lost against the Hyuga clan doesn't make them any weaker. That's stupid. Well, you can tell them that yourself. Preferably don't. Kakashi adds. Whatever your opinion on it is, it's their decision to make and theirs alone. So please be respectful of it. Yeah, I know, don't worry. Kuretsuchi stands up and stretches. I'm actually headed there now. I'm here as grandfather's representative, and I guess as an apology for letting the Teshin clan go all those years. You guys wanna come? Yakamaru and Katori look excited at the prospect. Can we go? Please? Hinata and Naruto share a look. If we're allowed to, of course. Naruto looks to the kids. This might be good training for you guys, actually. See someone else fighting besides me and Hinata. On their way out in the street to head for the dojo, Hinata turns to Kakashi and Anko. Are you here because of the Teshin clan, as well, like Kuretsuchi? Kakashi waves dismissively. No, we were on a joint mission with some hidden stone shinobi and stopped here on our way back home when we saw something was happening. And happened to run into Kuretsuchi. Anko smirks. I managed to get him to take me on a date. Not a date, Anko. Sure. She leans back to literally talk to Hinata behind his back. She stage whispers. Totally a date. Kakashi sighs and Anko bumps him with her butt, laughing. As they walk through the streets, some distance away from them is a young boy in a topknot, brows furrowed as he looks at the group of leaf ninja. Is that a Hyuga? Shoto had bought some sweets to get his mind off everything that happened with his father. He hadn't intended to return at all today and wait for the so-called dojo to close. But it might be worth going, after all. Shorin Ryu Dojo, Shuri Town, Land of Earth. The crowd had already gathered by the time Naruto and his group reached the dojo. It seems the Teshin name still carried some weight, despite the long time they'd spent closed off from others, or perhaps some are simply interested in picking up a new skill. The very first day is apparently reserved for exhibition matches. Practitioners from the Teshin clans will put on some practice fights to show what the style is all about, and if other martial artists are present, they can issue a challenge. Everyone is currently sitting around the arena, observing the mock fights, many showing interest. Hinata especially takes an interest in seeing their techniques. She can already imagine how a potential battle against a Teshin clan would go, and they definitely are capable to countering the gentle fist, although it's been a while since the style was actually used in a proper battle, so it's not exact. Katori looks around at all the people gathered, impressed at how many are here. She spots one boy in particular staying back from everyone else. He's leaned against a door, dressed in the same robes as the people from the Teshin clan. Curious as ever, she stands up from her seat and goes to him. Yakamaru sighs and joins her, if not to make sure she doesn't get herself in trouble. The adults do see them leave, but see they're not going far, and even if they did, they're plenty capable of tracking them down. Katori approaches Shoto. Hey there. Are you from the Teshin clan? Yeah? How'd you know? Shoto visibly wasn't expecting to be approached. The clothes are the same. Yakimaru motions at the boy's attire. Oh. Right. I'm Katori Uzumaki, nice to meet you. She's as bubbly as ever. Yakimaru Kigatsu. He introduces himself in a not as energetic way. Shoto Teshin. He straightens his pose and holds his hands close to his chest. His fist hits his palm, which wraps over his closed hand and bows. I saw the others do that too, is it a greeting? The boy stands up. Yeah. We do it as a greeting and as a beginning and end every spar. It's tradition. That's cool. Dad shows us a different ritual they do in the Hidden Leaf. Guess it's different for everyone, huh? I guess. We have our way because we are not really ninja. He puts on a strained smile. But you used to be, right? Yakimaru props himself against a doorframe. They said your clan was strong. Shoto balls up his fist. So you know? Yeah, we used to be, but they gave up a long time ago. Now we're just here to put on shows, I guess. Katori tilts her head. You don't like it? Of course not. I wanna be a ninja, but like this, the Teshin clan will never be ninja again. Oh, but can't you just be on your own or something? Become a ninja without your family? He shakes his head. Father won't let me. I have to stay with the clan's decision. It's tradition. Suddenly, he looks up with a furrowed brow to Katori. We're you even asking, and why am I telling you? Because. Now we can be friends. She grins. Shoto, confused, looks at Yakimaru. Yakimaru shrugs. Don't question it. I don't. A commotion inside grabs their attention. They turn around to see Naruto in the arena. Opposite of him is a young man, black hair tied in a topknot. Between them, acting as a mediator is the head of the Teshin clan, graying hair also tied in a topknot. Actually, every Teshin has a topknot. Soken looks between the two of them. Introduce yourselves. The man in front of Naruto gives the traditional bow. Nabe Teshin. Empty hand style of the Teshin clan's Shorin Ryu. Naruto Uzumaki. Mount Miyaboku's frog kata. Murmurs can be heard all around at the mention of his name. It seems Naruto is known even around these parts. Soken scratches his chin. I see. So you that Naruto Uzumaki. Soken takes a step back to give them space. Begin. Nabe Teshin gives the traditional bow and the two of them take their stances. Shoto looks between the blonde man standing in front of his second cousin and Katori. Wait, Naruto Uzumaki? The hero from the war? And you said you're Uzumaki? Yep. Katori beams. He's my adoptive dad. Shoto then looks to Yakimaru. He's just my sensei. The spar begins. Nabe practices a style all too familiar for Shoto. He begins with his knees slightly bent, hands outstretched with one shoulder in front of the other. Naruto has his palms open, one high and one low. Nabe makes the first move, delivers a series of punches that are pushed aside by Naruto, who takes an opening to try and get the upper hand. He parries what punches are thrown his way and utilizes thrusts to both deliver powerful blows and push Nabe back to throw him off his balance. Frog Kata specializes in keeping opponents at bay and finding an opening for a decisive strike. Nabe manages to keep his footing and return the attack. Naruto tries to parry and thrust, but the Teshin ducks and delivers a kick, which Naruto jumps over with a toad-like hop. Nabe gets back to his feet and punches up to Naruto's chest, but he parries that too and tries to push him back as he falls back to his feet. The two have everyone's undivided attention. They continue like this for a while longer, not one of them gaining the upper hand, but they both feel the other is not going at full force. When one speeds up, the other matches it. When one slows it back down, the other matches it. They're keeping this to a spar, as it should be. Naruto can't help but enjoy himself. He's really good. If this was a real fight, he might get the upper hand in taijutsu. A shame they're not shinobi anymore. Nabe keeps his distance. So this is the war hero, the savior of the world. Times like this, I agree with Shoto. It's a shame we are no longer shinobi, so we can clash in actual battle. The spar is stopped by Soken, enough having been demonstrated. Thank you both for your display. He bows to them both, and they bow to each other. With that, Naruto returns to his seat next to Hinata. Kakashi leans forward slightly. Did you get that out of your system? Yep. He's really good. He turns to Hinata. You sure you don't wanna have a go at it? I'm sure, I don't believe this is my thing. Naruto looks around. No one? Everyone shakes their heads. You guys are no fun, you know that? The day continues like this for a couple more hours until no one is left to test themselves against a Teshin clan. Eventually, the exhibition comes to an end and people leave. Naruto and his group are among the last to leave, taking time to talk about what they saw and also to wait for Kuretsuchi to finish talking with the head, Soken Teshin. Shoto looks nervous about something. He looks like he wants to say or do something, but is questioning it. Just as Katori is about to ask what's wrong, he goes to the arena. He takes the traditional bow. Facing Hinata Hyuga. End of chapter 21. Chapter 22. Iron Will, Part 2. Shoto goes to the arena and takes the traditional bow. Facing Hinata Hyuga. Itasaka's eyes bulge at the sight. Shoto, what do you think you're doing? Before he can walk into the arena, Soken stops him. Cousin? A challenge has been issued. Do not interfere. Hinata looks confused between her group and the Teshin clan leader, unsure what exactly to do in this situation. Katori and Yakimeru join her. Mom, are you going to accept? Hinata looks down. Katori, do you know something? Katori looks to Shoto. Maybe. I dunno. She looks back to the boy challenging her. Even though his head is lowered, she can see him rightly gripping his hand. She can see the reaction of some of the members of the Teshin clan. She can tell whatever this is, it's not just a simple challenge. She sighs and enters the ring. The boy remains in his bowed position. Shoto Teshin, empty hand of the Teshin clan's Shorin Ryu. Hinata Hyuga, gentle fist of the Hidden Leaf villages. Hyuga clan. They take their respective clans' stances. Shoto is the first to charge, with a much greater ferocity than any of the previous matches. Whatever is going through his mind, he's serious about this. Hinata, being a much experienced combatant, easily keeps him away. Shoto doesn't let up, delivering practiced punches, some kicks mixed in between, aiming as high as he can, which overall isn't very high with him being only 7 years old. Hinata gets a few strikes in, naturally holding back so as to not hurt him. The boy is knocked down, ending the match. Soken declares the match is over. However, Shoto immediately stands back up and bows again, declaring another challenge. Hinata looks between him and Soken, but accepts the challenge. Shoto comes at her with similar intensity, punching and kicking as much as he can. Probably more than he should. He's clearly overdoing it and tiring himself out. Even though it's not difficult for Hinata to stop his attacks, they still sting. He's trained hard and diligently, but it's still not enough to come close to beating Hinata. He's pushed down several times, but each and every time, he stands up and declares a new challenge. Some are visibly annoyed, especially his father, Itasaka. Shoto rushes in and delivers a series of kicks, using this time to weave a hand sign. His fingers and knuckles turn dark brown. Earth style, earth spear. He drives 2 punches forward, and they sting even more. Hinata notices this the first time anyone has actually used ninjutsu. This is it. This is the earth style that made the Teshin clan famous, although he's still young and can only cover a small part of his hand. Cousin, you must stop this now. He's clearly doing it in rebellion. Soken's gaze remains focused on the match. The challenge has been accepted. The sparring continues for a long time. Or rather, the challenge is issued over and over. The young boy has a look of desperation in his eyes, but also determination. He's calm and angry, focused and distracted, all at the same time. That look. Hinata has seen that look before, plenty of times. She's seen it in herself when she was trying to prove her worth to her father, she's seen it in Naruto when he worked to gain people's approval, she's even seen it in Lee when he became a shinobi using only taijutsu. This is the look of someone who wants to prove something and will do anything and everything in their power to prove it. Several times, his earth spear deactivates and he performs the jutsu again, using up a lot of chakra. Katori and Yakimeru are in awe at the display. They've been training quite a lot, but Shoto is clearly leagues above them when it comes to taijutsu. They'll have to train 5 times as hard if this is the level they'd need to be at. Eventually, after several spars, Shoto's legs begin giving out. He's knocked on the ground again and tries to get back to his feet to issue another challenge to prove that he can be a shinobi, that's his path in life. But he's no longer able. He remains on all fours on the ground, breathing heavily as would be expected. Hinata's breathing is hastened as well, but she knows proper breathing techniques and is able to regulate herself. Itasaka Power walks to his son, but before he can say anything, his wife Asami stands in front of him. You will not, husband. Even you, Asami? Shoto disgraced us, and Shorin Ryu in front of guests from the Hidden Leaf. Hinata approaches, a look of concern for the boy. Is that what you saw just now? Disgrace? Because I saw a warrior, someone putting every bit of their being to accomplish something they believe in. I saw someone willing and ready to work for their dream. I saw someone who does not give up. The shinobi. You do not know our son, nor what his dreams are. I didn't. But I found out everything I needed to know through his fists and his eyes. Shinobi don't need anything else to understand each other. The Leaf Shinobi hear the conversation, being within earshot. Kakashi and Anko are impressed by the young Hyuga. She's absolutely nothing like what she used to be. She's completely different even from how she was a year ago. He is not a shinobi, we are not shinobi, a member of the Hyuga clan should know that better than anyone else. Asami talks back to her husband, which surprises even him. If we're not shinobi it's because of our own weakness. If our predecessors had fought even half as hard as Shoto did, we'd still be. Soken sighs. Itasaka. The Teshin clan was renowned throughout the land of Earth. Our Earth style was so refined and strong that it could prevent the Hyuga clan from piercing our chakra network, and we gained fame and glory for being able to counter one of the most powerful clans. Of course, I know all of this. You clearly do not, or I wouldn't feel the need to explain it once more. Itasaka remains quiet at his elder's words. We grew complacent, cocky and arrogant, to the point where we believed that we were just naturally gifted and didn't need to put any more effort. But where we stopped trying, the Hyuga continued to grow. Our Earth style grew weaker, and we were disgraced and banished from the Hidden Stone Village. We closed ourselves off and decided we don't need anyone else and would isolate ourselves from the world. Until recently. Because we need to replenish our strength and recruit more people into the Teshin clan. Soken sighs. Even still, you don't. Kuretsuchi takes a place next to the Teshin leader. It's like the new shinobi alliance. We've opened our doors to each other and are working together. Not to bolster our own power, but to bolster relationships. It's the same with you, isn't it? She turns to Soken, who nods. Precisely. I did this because I wished more people to experience the gifts we have to offer. And that's what they are. Gifts. And the same way we'll come to accept others among our ranks, I'd wish others to feel accepted in other ranks. Just as people come because they're interested in our lifestyle, if someone else is interested in another lifestyle they should be free to pursue it. Soken kneels down to his cousin's child. What do you wish for, Shoto? Shoto looks to him, sweat pouring down his brow. I want to be a shinobi. I want to surpass the strength of my ancestors. And how do you intend to do that? Shoto looks to the ground for a moment. He curls his hand into fists, gripping some dirt. He then looks up to Hinata, who's unsure where this is going. Shoto kneels properly, places his palms on the ground, and lowers his forehead to touch the ground in a kowtow. Please accept me as your apprentice. My apprentice? Naruto walks next to her. Well then. Didn't think that would happen today. Hinata kneels down and ushers him to lift his head. You could become a shinobi through other ways, you could join the academy in the Hidden Stone. We're Hidden Leaf and that might complicate things. No. It has to be you. Naruto scratches his head. I mean, it's not really up to us, is it? Soken stands up and straightens himself. I cannot decide for his parents whether to let him go, and I cannot decide you will accept him, but as clan head, I will not hold anyone here against their wishes. You've my blessing to become a shinobi, Shoto. He turns to Itasaka. And I know you see it too, Itasaka. You're a good man at heart. I should know, I helped raise you. And yet the Leafs still have no reason to accept such a ridiculous request. Itasaka looks to his son who's still kowtowing. Asami turns to Hinata and Naruto. It's as my husband said. You've no reason to accept, but for months Shoto hasn't been himself. He does have dreams, and he does have things he wants to accomplish, but we haven't given him the opportunity to do so. Today I saw him display more passion than ever. He bows her head. Please, if you would consider, we would accommodate you in any way possible. Naruto and Hinata share a look, being put in a tough spot, but they both saw the boy and how hard he fought. They're both aware this request is not hollow and not a rash decision. And they both want the same thing. If you would allow us, Hinata turns to Shoto's parents. We would take Shoto on as an apprentice. Shoto finally looks up, a wide smile on his face. But, why? Itasaka is confused that they would do this. Because both of us know what it's like. Or, Naruto places a hand on Katori and Yakimaru's heads. I guess I should say the four of us know what it's like. And we don't want anyone to feel trapped like we've been. Asami turns to her husband. You can't take this away from our son, Ito. Itasaka grumbles. You know it's not fair to call me that. Fine, but answer me this. What happens when you go back to the Hidden Leaf? Shoto is a citizen of the land of Earth. Kuretsuchi speaks up. I can handle that part. Just like how some shinobi are traveling to the different lands to help, we're also in the process of establishing permanent residency in other lands for those who want it. Shoto can be one of those people, native to the land of Earth, but permitted to live in the land of fire. A dual citizenship, I guess you could call it. Soken turns to his cousin. You could join him, you know. Establish another dojo in the Hidden Leaf, should the Hokage allow it. Be close to your son and spread the Shorin Ryu even further than we could by staying here in Shuri Town. I can handle that too, although there's a lot of things to handle now. Kuretsuchi looks at Soken from the corner of her eye. You're not going to throw more things my way, are you? Soken chuckles. No, I believe that's enough. Hinata offers Shoto a helping hand. Then, I guess it's settled. Welcome to the team. The boy smiles and takes the hand, getting back up to his feet. Katori is as ecstatic as ever. Before everyone scatters to where they're from, Naruto pulls Kakashi aside. Could I talk to you for a second, Kakashi-sensei? The Jonin turns to his student. Of course, what do you need? It's not really about needing something, I just found something. Or really the head and Ma found in Mount Myoboku. He reaches into his backpack and takes out the items he'd found that belonged to his father. They're not in the casket as it's much too large to be carried around, but they're still neatly packed. These belong to my dad. Kakashi remains silent as he looks over, but he can't help but smile, which only shows in his eyes closing as he does. I see. I'm glad you found them. They take a seat on a grassy area and look over everything. Sealing pouches, huh? I'd expect nothing less of Minato-sensei. Sealing pouches? Is that what they are? I haven't really had the time to try them out or figure out what they do. It's basically a way to store items, like what Tenten does. Let me show you. Kakashi takes out a shuriken of his own, places it inside and performs a seal. With that, it disappears in a puff of smoke. Then Kakashi just forms a one-handed seal and reaches inside, the shuriken appearing. Sensei made something similar for us too, but ours were lost or torn through various skirmishes. So that's why you know how they work. Kakashi nods. And, you can do this? He throws the shuriken into a tree and then forms the seal again. The shuriken disappears and he takes it out of the pouch. They return to the seal at your command. It's a very useful tool, although apparently the sealing formulae is not an easy one. I guess he probably wanted to replace the ones you lost, but never got the chance. Maybe. But they're in good hands now. Kakashi smiles. You don't want them, sensei? I'm good, Naruto, thank you. I think you might make better use of them, anyway, being a teacher now. And a father. Naruto rubs his head embarrassed. Yeah. Still kinda feels weird, you know? I know. But you'll grow into and become a splendid role model for them, as you have so many. He places a hand on his student's shoulder. There is something you can take solace in. No matter what they do, no matter how reckless they become, know that they'll never be as much of a handful as you were. Kakashi manages to deliver that deadpan, but he cracks. The two begin openly laughing. Naruto wipes away a tear. You know, that actually does make me feel better. Kakashi looks over other items. Everything in here is pretty practical, the only sentimental item being the photo of Minato, a pregnant Kushina, and Jiraiya. Kakashi finally notices the tanto. Wait, this is… He takes it out and channels his chakra into it. He swings it around, witnessing it leave a very familiar white streak behind it. My father's white light chakra saber? Wait, your father's? Yeah, this was a specially crafted item just for him. It's what got him the nickname White Fang. I inherited it, but it broke. Kakashi feels the need to pause and gather his thoughts. He swallows. It broke the day I thought Obito died. But then what's it doing here? It's not, this is a different one. He holds it up to inspect it. Did he commission a new blade? Then, consider it a late present from my dad. Naruto grins. Kakashi places it back in the pile. Thanks, but I'll have to refuse this one too. What? How come? Naruto protests. It's yours, isn't it? He clearly made it for you. Maybe, but I've had a lot of time to think about things and mull them over. I'm not the person I was back then, hell, I'm not even the same person I was a year ago. I don't need it. I'd much rather see it in capable hands, be passed down to the next generation. You can use it, or maybe one of your students can. I'm curious how they'll develop. Thanks, sensei. No. Thank you, Naruto. For everything. Kakashi extends a hand. Naruto takes it and shakes his hand, but also pulls him into a hug. Kakashi is taken aback at first, but pats the blonde on the back. The following day. Naruto and Hinata and their, now 3, students are at the gates of Shuri Town, ready to depart. Asami is kneeling down next to Shoto, fussing over his baggage. I have everything, mother. I'll be fine. She tries to get away. Not that he doesn't love his mom, he's just embarrassed at being fussed over like this. And should he need anything, we'll take care of it. Hinata reassures her. I know. I just never expected this to happen so soon. She brushes his cheeks and kisses his forehead. He grumbles. Katori has a silly grin watching the two. Itasaka is standing over her, arms crossed. Don't be a burden to your teachers. If this dream means so much to you, then be the best at it. Yes, father. His dad was never the most sentimental, but he had his own way of showing it. Hinata can't help but be reminded of how her own father is. You guys not leaving? Naruto looks at Kakashi, Anko, and Kuretsuchi. Kuretsuchi waves her hand dismissively. I still have a lot of things to take care of for the hidden stone, but we'll definitely meet up again soon. Kakashi has his hands in his pockets. And we're not really in a rush, we don't really have to return soon. Besides, I've grown curious. Anko hands each of the kids a bag of select treats. Now be sure to savor these, alright? Or just eat them all in one big gulp, either is fine. Thanks, creepy snake lady. Katori says that with too much excitement. Anko glares at Naruto. I didn't even do anything. He argues. The 5 of them say their goodbyes and leave Shuri Town to make their way to the Hidden Stone Village. The ones watching them departs also head back to where they need to be. Kakashi and Anko walk through the streets. The silver-haired Jonin has a certain twinkle in his eye that doesn't go unnoticed. Anko leans forward, staring at Kakashi. You're happy. My student has grown into quite the dependable young man. Why wouldn't I be happy? It's an odd look. I'd gotten used you being all lone wolfy and broody. Can't say I dislike it, though. She smirks. Yeah, well, the war gave me a lot to think about. I was able to get closure on a lot of things. And I've had the chance to see my pupil become a dependable adult in such a quick time. Makes me realize there's a lot to life I've missed out on. I kept using the excuse that I was lost on the pathway of life, but maybe it's time I actually did that. So you're done regretting the past and moving on like the rest of us have long ago? He shakes his head. I'm not sure if I'd put it that way, but sure. He extends his elbow to Anko. She furrows her brow at the display. What are you doing? Asking you on a date. She grins widely. Well, wha'd you know? She interlocks her arm with his. And you're in luck, dog boy, I totally dig it dogja style. I feel like that's more third date information, but sure. End of chapter 23. Author's note. Yeah, I ship Kakashi and Anko. Fight me.